Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thanks again for joining me, and if this is your first time, I hope you enjoy what you see. I hope you find it useful. If you do, please do like and subscribe to the channel. Your support is much appreciated. Today we are looking at squat pose. Okay, it's a yogic squat, yoga squat. Quite tough on the hips. There's a lot going on around the hips. See a lot of twisting in the knees when people practice this. Like their toes would be pointing right out to the side, but their knees will buckle in, or their toes will be in and their knees will fly out. So there's quite a bit of tension into the knees, a bit of torque twist into the knees. So it's bringing awareness to that. People in desperation to get their heels to the floor, that's when that kind of happens. You start to get that twist and that torque into the knees. So it's not really beneficial for the knees in the long term. I'm just going to look at ways of, supporting the pose so that you can ease into it gradually over time. Okay, because that's what yoga is. It's a progression. You're not expected to go from standing to a squat like, in the Western world particularly, we're in rigid 90-degree chairs when we're sitting at desks and stuff like that. Cars are 90 degrees. Sofas, we slouch with feet on the floor, bums here. Like if we're in the Eastern world, they sit and they do all sorts of stuff like this. So it's comfortable and it's natural for them to be in that position. But for Westerners, it's not so much. So take that pressure off of being able to just drop into it without any sort of building up to it, progression into it. Okay, and this is where the functionality comes into the practice of just working with what's available. Props, I've got them this time. Last week I was 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4 with my hands. So yeah, how we can implement props to support the pose, to stop us falling, to take the edge off the tension. So again, what I tend to see, I won't demonstrate it too much, but the toes kind of go out really wide and then the knees buckle in. I'm not going to go into it because it's bad for your knees. And then your knees buckle in, or the other way, like toes turn in and knees go out. I can't even do that, but there's all sorts of stuff. Also, another thing that I see is when people come into it, they're kind of here, and it's the upper arms right here, which is fine when you're building into it. We're after lifting up, so the elbows, the knobbly bits of the elbows are just inside the knees. That's kind of what we're after more. Yeah, start off here maybe, but over time we're lifting back, and as we lift back, that's when we start to feel that falling back. So again, a lot of people coming down, balls of the feet is fine. Some people struggle with the balance on the balls of the feet here, so you might struggle there. So option number one, you can literally roll up the mat if you're practicing at home. You can roll up your yoga mat behind. Provides a little bit of support. So you've got support underneath the heels of the feet. It gives you something to lean into. If you need to go a bit deeper, you can use some of these blocks. A bit more support, so you've still got kind of that heeled support here. So that works really well for supporting underneath the feet. So you can really shift the weight back into the heels, because that's what we're after as well. We're not so much leaning forward in our squat, we're after leaning back, shifting the weight backwards. Okay, these blocks as well, if you're not getting anywhere near that, you can literally bring a block in underneath and you can perch up onto a block. So this creates more space for the knees and for the hips, and it gives you a little bit of room to just get down into the pose. And then, because this is going to be really tight for a lot of people, so you can use this, you can kind of sit here, just opening up into that position. Again, anything else you've got support wise, it can sit a little stool or something like that will work just as well. And then you can get used to the elbow position just inside the knees. See this scrunched up variation quite a bit. What we're again after over time is pulling the forearms down, the wrist down. So we've got a nice straight line from elbow to elbow, pushing through as a nice straight line. So you're getting a more of a 90-degree angle at those wrists. But again, working with the wrists and what's available to the wrists, then you may be here. But again, with the practice, with the warming up, if your skeletal system allows it, you're going to start to feel an opening up. So if you feel a stretch in the palm of the hand and feel a stretch into the forearm here, then you know that you've got muscle to stretch into. If you get here and it's completely locked and you don't feel any sort of stretch, but you can't go anymore, then that's potentially more skeletal. Okay, just so you know. But if you're coming down here and you can start to feel a stretch through the inside of the forearm, maybe into the palm of the hand, that just means you've got tight muscles. And then with practice, you'll be able to open up into that tightness. Okay. Feet and knee position, touched on it at the start. We're after having the toes and the knees pointing the same way. So it releases that twist of the knee. We can twist at the knee. We are designed to twist at the knee slightly. But when you're putting the weight down through and you're over twisting, it's too much torque. Touched on it in Warrior 1 and in Pyramid Pose and Humble Warrior. And be mindful of that twist of the back knee in those poses. It's the same thing applies here. Be mindful of the twist into the knee. Okay? So we're aiming to get the toes and the knees pointing the same direction here. Elbows, knobbly bits of the elbows just inside the kneecaps. That's what we're aiming for here. Rather than being down here, try and create space to be here. Even if you are like, this is really comfortable actually. I just stay here. Up onto the block, hands to heart, and then leaning back. So the shoulders are lifting up and pulling back. Again, lots of rounded backs. Sitting at the computer, driving, reading, scrolling, doom, 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 doom. Like rounded back, you're collapsing, shoulders back. So when we're working down, we're working down, we're working down. A nice little way to soften into it sometimes is just a nice gentle sway through the hips. But weight to the heels again. Unless you're on the balls of the feet, weight to the heels. It's a nice chance to just give the toes a gentle little wiggle here so you know you're leaning back a little bit. And we're leaning back, the crown of the head reaching up to the sky. And then we start to soften into the hips. So we're not engaging, we're not bracing, and we want to be able to soften and drop down. This is what we're after, okay? It's a progress, it's a practice. Yoga is nothing more than a practice. It's an exploration. So we just start to create space using props to get ourselves in. Using props to make it accessible at the different levels, at the different stages as we soften down into the pose. Supporting underneath the heels. Create space to lean back into without falling back. Using blocks and supports underneath the bum and the hips gets you down into the position where you can actually start to relax and soften into the position, allowing the muscles to open up over time. So you're not forcing, we're not straining, we never want to be 100% in any of these poses. It's not, yoga's not a practice of effort, okay? So, yeah. I think we're there. I think we're there. Good use of the props. Yeah, I think we're there. Any questions? Feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'm sure I've forgotten something. It feels like I've forgotten something, but anyway. Any comments, any questions, drop them in the comments below. And if you do like and find this useful, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate your support. Your support is greatly appreciated. Daniel.